So we said the argument of the time last time, that they say we'll be okay. We won't go so deeply into Gehenna. We'll go not to be in Gehenna, not to be Gan Eden. You have to be so Gan Eden. We tried to bring it down in our language last time. So, what's the answer? No, says Rabbeinu. Shelachas neshalom. I want to ask those time one arguing thing. Hayuchel kolkach al nakala. Could they so easily kolkach al nakala like lakel? Would it be so easy for them lisbol to carry bolam hazeh cholif in this world which is just passing by? Would they be so willing to let in this world their friend getting credit and people passing them by? Or let's say it's one of their avadim, one of their servants, or if it was one of the poor people that was walking around, right? The way most people view someone who's like collecting money, etc. And then he says like, whoa, that guy is getting honored at the dinner and I'm not? Wait, he's getting shlishi and I'm not getting shlishi? What's up here? They wouldn't be angered by that, or they wouldn't have pain in that, they'd be suffering in that, when their blood would boil inside of them. Lo vadai. For sure they wouldn't be so with that. They wouldn't have that attitude. They don't have that attitude when it comes to this world. We see, open your eyes. You can see, people work so hard to get above. We've discussed this idea before. Right? One of the things I've said before, and I love saying it, so I'll say it again. So maybe it's 25 years ago or 20 years ago or so. I quote someone said, maybe 15 years ago, but a long time ago, before there were tons and tons of billionaires. Fellow made $800 million, and he said, you see these young guys who made $1.5 billion, and you wonder where you went wrong. What makes him think he went wrong? Because they're making more money than him. That's all. What keeps you going? You can't be sober with that. Everybody's pushing to be ahead. I have to need 2 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl rings, 4 Super Bowl rings. I have to read this many Grand Slams, this many Oscars. This much money. Kinas ish mireo. That's the kina. Kinas ish mireo. Look, if my friend gets better than me, okay, I'm not going to jump off a roof because I have to be sober. But I would never put myself in a position to make myself be sober more. Right? I can't stop it. I'm not sure what the translation of yitashesh means, but that's the point. The general people don't like to see other people getting more honor them more than they have to be sober. No, would I have to be sober, but not more than that. Me'ata, imkain, kasha, aleim, liot, shfolim, v'nezulos, v'malos, ha'medumas, v'kozos. So when it comes to things which make no difference, whether you have $700 million or $1 billion, whether you have $1 million, $2 million, it's a bell curve money, right? A little bit of money definitely helps, but at a certain point we all know no one really needs it, no one knows how to spend it, etc. It doesn't make that much of a difference. Honor for sure whether you got shlishi or v or with no ali at all. What's the difference? Right? What is it? It's a meduma. It's kozev. It's falseness. It's ephemeral. Shein hashivlas b'amalifnim. It's all fake and it's all foolishness, etc. But you, the person he's speaking to, you can't handle to see that someone else, when it comes to issues which aren't so real or factual or substantive, can't handle, it bothers you to see someone else get ahead of you. So now you're going to get to the next world, and because you didn't put enough effort in, that guy is going to be ahead of you. You were getting the honor at the dinner, but the cleaner at the dinner, who you wouldn't even look at, or the guy you gave your coat to and hardly smiled at him, or maybe not at all, or the guy who checked your car, that you didn't even turn in his area at all, etc., and felt chashiv above him, he's going to be in a higher place in Olam Haba, because he's doing his job, l'shem shamayim, he's trying to help people, and he has good kavanas, etc., and you're full of yourself. And he's going to be ahead of you, that fellow, and you'll feel it. Where? And where is it going to be? Not a place where it doesn't make any difference. That's in the place of true milas, where it really makes a difference. V'karnitzchi, and eternal levels. Even though today, yes, we don't recognize it, al kain lo yichushal, therefore we don't emotionally relate to it as much, we don't feel it. But then you will feel it for your tsar and your boshas. You're going to have to live forever seeing that person is in a better seat than me, right? It's going to be an eternal, I'm just translating his words so strong. It's going to be a eternal, big suffering and pain. Wow. So let's think about it. The person, whoever they are, that category of people who are moved by recognition, covet, being in front, having the extra car, having the nicer house, having the better place in shul, all this stuff, they are moved in this world. That same person is making the argument that in the next world he doesn't care who's ahead. Doesn't make any sense. So there, Mesilas Yesharim says, the sablanis, the chillness that they have, the tolerance that they have. And this, now, imagine, he'll be ahead of me, so what? I'll just have a small chelik in Olam Haba. I don't want to be in Gehenna. I don't want it to be so hot. But as long as the weather's okay, I'm all right. Because it's just a fake. You're just faking yourself. It's the Yetzer Hara. Right? Just recognize that argument is the Yetzer Hara. When you say, I don't need such a big chelik in when you say, I don't need such a big chelik in Olam Haba, it's the Yetzer Hara, because you don't think about things in this world in that way. Lo davar miti klal. And the only reason they have this, even a place for this foolishness, because they can't see the truth. Because they're not looking for the truth. Now he's getting deeper. Why? What's the sharsh of this mistake? Right? Right? I'm gonna stop this argument there because I want to focus on that part, on Luli Hayroim. And what I want to share now is, so this is quite a sophisticated argument, right? Again, we're talking to the Pchusim, not the Shleimei Adas. And what do we say to the Shleimei? What do we say to this Pchusim? Look, you don't want Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yisachar, Zevulun to be ahead of you in this next world. You don't want it. And I'll prove it to you. And even if you say that you don't care so much, and it's enough for you to have just a small chelik, in this world you don't act like that. So if in this world you don't act like that, all the more so, you shouldn't act like that in the next world. Because there, it really makes a difference. Here, the fact he gets a better aliyah than you, here, the fact he gets recognized with a rabbi, or with a rav, or whoever, by the grandfather, the father, etc., it doesn't really make a difference. And over there, it really makes a difference. Now, this argument, the Mesilas Yesharim is writing because this can work. This is an argument. And if it works for you, it's gewaldig. I just want to share something about us today. Is that it's quite an argument. As I mentioned, right, the person that this argument would work for, I consider to be a pretty big Baal Madrega. Why? Because he's holding with Olam Haba. He has intellectual honesty, and he's honest about his midas. Because if one doesn't think that kavod moves him, right, which most of us, I think, the assumption that most of us have is that kavod doesn't move us. I don't do things because of kavod. I do the right things. It's not honor that moves me, recognition, credit. Those words don't really move me, right? If they do, it's maybe just because of good amount. I remember a good chaver of mine said to me one time, everything I do is for kavod. God bless him. God bless his honesty. God bless him. I remember I was like, whoa, really? He said, yeah, everything I do is for kavod. I was like, whoa. And it wasn't, performance. He was speaking to a friend, and I was a chavrus of mine also, but really impressive that he said that. But most of us don't face that. That's what moves us. So what's interesting here in the Mesilas Yesharim, which I want to point out, is that this is quite an argument. So you see who the Pchusei Das are in him, right? The Pchusei Das are these people who can get such an argument. Now, we have to think to ourselves whether that argument will work. If it works for you, try it. And that's great, right? Do that cheshbon that he says. we're learning the Sefer. Mesilas Yesharim is a Sefer Ma'asi. It's a Sefer to get us. The name of this chapter is, I'll just read the exact name, we all know it, right? It's B'derech Kniyas Zahir, how to become Zahir. Right? That means that a person is supposed to take these ideas and make them into engines that move them and keep them Zahir. I'm going to do a Cheshbon Nefesh on myself and make sure I know, as we've been saying the whole time, what is the Ratzon Hashem? Am I living up to the Ratzon Hashem? How can I get there? What is the Ratzon Hashem? Am I living accordingly? How can I fix it? Etc. This is what's supposed to power us. These are the philosophies and ideas which are powering us and keeping us on track. Now you have to think whether that'll work for you. I think, interestingly, for most of us, the Shleimei Adas Svara will work better. Not because we're Shleimei Adas. I think for me, the Shleimei Adas Svara will work better, even though I certainly don't consider myself a Shleimei Adas. But for some reason, I just think that argument would work better. The idea that Ani Kibbutz Elikim L'Tov, what's it all about? It's all about Ratzon Hashem. It's all about this world is right connected with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So you have to think to yourself, like, don't just say, well, I'm not a Shalom Adas, therefore I won't use the Shalom Adas Svaras. Yeah, don't do that. Because you never know. Mesilas Yesharim is not telling us an Isser, right? He's laying out the Sugya in front of us, and this is how it should work. The Shalom Adas in his time, this should work. The Pchusim, this should work, and the Pchusim, this should work. But as I always say from Rav Leichter, when we work with what works. The Tachlis over here is Shumai Septom, Lo Medrashik or Elamasa. What is going to move you? So you have to think what's going to move you. If this type of argument can move you, and you get that around your head. And again, Chas v'shalom, I never, ever, ever want to be someone who's extinguishing any fire or light that someone has. If that argument moves you, great. All I'm trying to say is, I'm just trying to open up to the fact that you might assume you're not a Shalom Adas, so not use the Shalom Adas argument. The Shalom Adas argument might work better for you. Why? There's a lot of reasons that we are the way we are. The whole language of Gehenna and Gan Eden works less to us, etc. Schar works less to us. We're in a certain generation, certain door with our milas, with our chesronas, with our thank you Hashem, etc. And you have to know in our mindset what works and what doesn't work, and in your personal mindset, and every person is so individual. It's incredible to me all the time how when you get into it deeper, how you realize how individual the world of Ruchnius really is. So you have to find the argument where it works for you, and as we go through and see the other arguments, Bezrat Hashem, each person can wade through it. And maybe there's another argument which the Tachlis to be a Zahir. That's what we want to get to, and Bezrat Hashem will find the right ways to engender that inside of ourselves.